Welcome to Don't Do Stupid Shit to Your Body on OMTimes Radio with inventor, author, engineer, and rebel Gail Lynn. Gail has over 3 decades of solving her own health mysteries and then helping thousands of others find a better quality of life through sound, light, frequency, and vibration. She has witnessed countless stories of people harming themselves, some resulting in death, just because they didn't know any better. Her hope is to educate people to be more discerning and critically think about the sources of information being researched, as well as products and modalities being used to determine if or how they are biased and misleading. Don't Do Stupid Shit is inspiring, honest, authentic, and unapologetic. Listen now to laugh and learn from Gail Lynn and her guests as they discuss how to be more discerning with healers, energy modalities, what you put into your body, and, most importantly, to listen to your body. Here is your host, Gail Lynn.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Don't Do Stupid Shit to Your Body. And I did something stupid to my body, so I'll tell you guys about it. Hey Carrie, welcome. I have to always start it out with a joke. So this is for Chris. So what is the one fear that flat earthers have? Getting buried too deep. Arr, 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 arr. All right, here's another one. Another fear that flat earthers have, or the only thing that flat earthers have to fear is sphere itself. Oh my gosh. And then the other one that I came up with about fear, because the show is going to be about fear and love. So hey Heather, yeah, how you doing? So my friend went to the doctor for his fear of snakes, and his diagnosis was erectile dysfunction. Okay, there you go, guys. That's my personality. So the stupid shit that I did to my body this last couple of weeks, I thought this supplement was really cool. It was kava and crantum leaf, and it was this beautiful supplement. They did so much marketing on it. I think I probably saw it 9 times because, you know, the call to action for marketing is 9 times and you want to buy it, right? So I bought it, and it's been lovely, actually. I am super high maintenance. I have a hard time shutting my brain off at night. So one of the things that I struggle with is falling asleep. I just can't sometimes get to sleep because my brain's just like the little squirrels running around. So the supplement's been really great. And a little tablespoon of it at night. And they tell you can drink like a bottle of it a day. They're little tiny bottles. But so I usually take a couple, like a tablespoon at night. And it'll help me just to unwind and I fall asleep and I'm staying asleep. And it's been great for a couple of months. But I realized I was having more hot flashes, and yes, I'm going through menopause. It's not so bad, but I was having more hot flashes. I was getting sensitive to light. There was a lot of different things going on. My heart was racing, and I thought something is different. And I didn't really think it was my hormones shifting. I thought there was something different. So I always asked my guides. I said, okay, guides, to help me understand what's different, what changed? Why am I having these experiences? And what popped into my head was the crantum leaf. And I was like, what? You know, and I'm trying not to be rude, but any old idiot like myself can just go on the shelf and buy this. And kava has dangers for pregnant women. It says, do not take it while you're driving or operating machinery. It's addictive. And crantum leaf is even more addictive. If you're taking pharmaceutical drugs or meds, do not take kava. You shouldn't drink alcohol in large amounts. You shouldn't take it if you have a heart condition, a liver or lung condition, or a child, if you have a diagnosis of schizophrenia. And it can also increase the effects of anesthesia. It can cause breathing difficulties, vision changes, sensitivity to light, hot flashes, cold flashes, liver damage. One person reported in 3 months of taking it needing a liver transplant. I know it's in larger doses, guys, but this stuff is on the shelves for us to purchase as uneducated buyers. And I don't want it regulated. What this show is about is to educate you so you don't do stupid shit to your body like I did and like we all do because we're human. But I'm like talking, keeps going on, liver damage, kidney damage, rashes. And then Crantum is highly addictive, and it's a drug of concern from the DEA, which is our drug administration, an emerging drug of abuse by the National Institute of Drug Abuse, and there's warnings from the FDA, which is our Federal Drug Administration. Why aren't these labels on this product so that people can research it and find out for themselves? I'm just very frustrated. So there was my tell of me doing something stupid to my body, which I am now stopping that, and I'll just have to find another way to fall asleep. It was really nice though. But I'm really disappointed that there's not more warning labels on that, because that's a lot of population that should not be taking it. So very frustrated. So I'm rambling on, and we have our guest today, who's so lovely, you guys. She's amazing. I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about her background. I have a ton of questions for her about fear and love, and she has an amazing story about how she shifted her entire life and is now living her dream and living in love and having more joy in her life. So Carrie, welcome. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thanks, Gail. I became a massage therapist just over 30 years ago. I was living in Ontario, in a place called Peterborough, Ontario. And anyway, I started off very, very insecure. And so I worked my way into 10 years of massage therapy. Then I got into osteopathy. And that's where I started listening more to the body and going within and actually feeling more of what's going on around me and around my clients. So anyway, fast forward after, another 10 years, I guess, so adds up to 30. Last summer, I was just feeling like I needed to change because I was still dealing with a lot of stuck stuff within myself. And I knew even moving away wouldn't solve it, but it just came to me that I needed more. And I also, I'm a singer as well. So that as well kind of goes into the whole thing. I probably should explain a little bit about that. When I was 40, I discovered that I could sing, and I started singing opera. I had a voice teacher, and anyway, so I discovered again a lot of fear within myself that was stuck. And anyway, yeah, just I could, like, going on stage, scared to death, shaking. I don't know why nobody else saw it, but I sure felt it, man. I sure felt it. So anyway, last year I was going through these waves of depression and, not being able to move through these emotions. So I discovered the harmonic egg just by opening up to sound healing, sound. There were a few other options that came forward as well at the time, but I watched your podcast or your interview, and I ended up getting very strongly that I needed to move, that I needed to go into that fear of, like, I had a full practice, 30 years of clients built up. It was very successful. I was booked out 2 months. I was exhausted at the same time and not moving forward in my own, my own ascension. Felt myself blocked in a few places that just weren't moving at all. So I had a few sessions in Niagara Falls with Paige. And it was there, both Rachel and I, my daughter, and I left there the one day, and we said on the way home, we need an egg. So She wanted to bring
Where
it.
did you feel that fear when you first started feeling it? Because we want to kind of educate our audience. Like when you felt that fear, where did you feel it? How did you know it was stuck energy? So kind of help us
Always,
out.
yeah, always in the solar plexus, and the low back right side. Um, I think that kidneys and solar plexus. So a lot of digestive issues.
Okay.
Yeah, big time.
So you
Um,
know the body so well because of all your background and training. I'm so impressed with your background and training. So people that if you don't know, and somebody commented that you look like you're 30 years old now, so 30 years
Aw.
ago. You're adorable.
Thank you, Heather.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, when people are trying to figure out what is holding them back and they don't understand that the kidneys hold the fear. So you can have that lower back problem. And so you felt it on the right side, which the right side is the masculine side. There's the receiving side, the giving side. So, yeah, maybe help explain that to people because they don't know how to listen to their bodies.
Yes, so much. Well, fear can go a lot deeper too. I mean, it can go right into the polyvagal theory, right? So in the reptilian brain, where you go right into freeze. And I've had that happen several times over the last few years. One with music, and once with testing in my schooling. I went back to school to do some upgrading and literally froze in the middle of the test. It was an oral practical. And
Oops.
I literally, you won't believe what I did. I froze. My brain just turned off. It was like the most unbelievable thing. And then I stopped and I said, there were 3 teachers sitting in front of me, stone faced, and I just said, I hate it when people stare at me. I would rather be on a stage in front of 10,000 people singing than doing this right now. And I could not, I, I couldn't believe I was saying it, because common sense says don't do that, like not in this situation. Anyway, I said, if you guys let me go, I'll come back and do the test later, but I feel like I'm not ready. And they wouldn't let me leave.
Oh my
And then
God.
afterwards they said, you had to go through that. We totally see that you've got performance anxiety. There's a lot of fear there. So, yeah.
It's hard. I was doing a presentation one time and I watched one of my mentors always go on stage and he was so extemporaneous and he was so never had notes. And I thought, well, you know what? If he can do it, I can do it. So I go into this women's group and it's the first time I threw my notes away on the way in. I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to totally do this. And I think I had like 30 minutes to talk. And I remember it probably was 30 seconds. And I was looking around. I lost my brain. Everything stopped. And I remember saying, oh, how much more time do I have? It's like 29 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying here. I never went back to that group again. But I just tried to find somebody who had empathy in their face. And then I just started asking them questions and to get myself back because I didn't know. I was so lost. My brain turned off. What does John Wayne say? Fear is being scared to death and saddling up anyway.
Mm-hmm. So somebody told me once when I was going on stage to picture them all in their underwear. And
Did that work?
Grounded, that's easy. But
yeah, when you get to that point of the freeze, you can't picture anything. You can't think of anything. No. So living in that kind of fear, because fear can cause us to get into that sympathetic nervous system, which is our fight, flight, or freeze.
Yeah.
And then the parasympathetic just is like rest and digest is out the window. So of course,
there's where the issue comes from, right?
Exactly.
The digestive issues, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. You go into fight or flight. If you're in the middle of a meal and your house is on fire, you're running out the door and your meal stops. It's like all that blood and all that energy gets sent to the heart, to the muscles. Get me out of here, and that's it. So that's, a lot of people have digestive issues, GERD, stomach,
IBS,
because they're stuck in
ulcers. Yes. Because imagine our society right now, we're being chased by a bear 24/7. You know, we're in fear everywhere. I know you're in Canada, we're in the United States, but I think the same, you know, same general programming.
Yeah.
And it feels like you're being chased by the bear all day long, every day, all day. And that doesn't help the GERD, the ulcers, irritable bowel syndrome, digestive problems. And so people don't realize that they're stuck in fight or flight because that's all they know.
Right.
So I always try to tell people that are stuck so much that it's going to cause illness and disease. It's going to weaken your immune system. It's going to create cardiovascular issues. We talked about the ulcers and the digestive stuff, decreased fertility, accelerated aging, premature death, all these things from living in fear. What in the world? Memory problems, so many things. So how do we help people to understand that they're living in fear? Let's go with that first. Do you have any advice for them on that?
Well, as an osteopath, and actually the egg does this as well. It's, you want to put them into a parasympathetic state. So I would use techniques like craniosacral therapy or massage therapy as well. You know, bringing the body down and relaxing everything. Biodynamic craniosacral therapy, another really good technique with as an osteopath. I actually, that was the main thing that I would do with people anyway when I would first get them into the session. Bring the parasympathetics down, relax everything, or bring them in and relax everything. And then the body is ready to heal. It moves into the fullness of what it needs to heal. Yeah. And I've been finding that with the egg as well.
Yeah, and people that don't know about the egg, it's basically our claim to fame is rebooting or resetting the autonomic nervous system. And when the autonomic nervous system is in balance, then everything can work properly and heal.
Yes.
And that's what we call homeostasis. We call it balance. So you can get that support also through craniosacral and other things. But I've noticed with the egg, that's kind of the claim to fame with it.
Yes.
Is it helps to reset the nervous system. We've done heart rate variability testing pre and post to show that it does do that. And there's no drug on the market that's for rebooting the autonomic nervous system, right?
I did a really interesting session with a woman that I'd been seeing for quite a while. She actually lives in Peterborough still, and I am now in Ottawa. This was my my jump out of my old life. I moved into a new life in Ottawa with nothing, and started the egg business and have restarted my osteopathic business as well. But this woman is in Peterborough, so I asked her if I could do a distance session with her. And after that session, I couldn't believe the difference in what I was feeling in her body. And it was a distance session, one session.
It's crazy. Everything is energy.
There, she was in her body, and she was able to accept the treatment that was coming in. And I'd been treating her for quite a while, actually, you know, and she was getting something from it, but I couldn't believe the difference with that one session.
As an engineer, my mind is blown every day by the remote sessions. I know everything's energy. I can conceptualize that, but I can't really get my brain wrapped around how a person's picture in the egg. And so it's basically just sound and light therapy. So you're immersed in sound and light waves, and we're vibrational beings of sound and light from God, from source, from universe, and how it can really reset the body and make such an impact. And doctors, medical professionals, chiropractors, all kinds of different medical professionals have told me, I see a difference in my patients or my clients, whatever they refer to them as, after the egg session. And the chiropractic adjustments seem to be way more easier, if that's even the right grammar. But yeah, so that's fascinating that you saw that you had worked with her for years and hadn't seen that shift. And then one session with the harmonic egg. And again, we're going to be coming out, the planet's going to be coming out with more of these modalities that are non-invasive, that are really helping the body to reset. and to come into balance. And we're going to, I hope, get more away from the, the drugs with all the side effects and the sick care that we have now instead of health care. We need health care, not sick care.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people think that releasing this trauma from a cellular memory or a cellular level, releasing the fear is tough. But we've had veterans and, trauma victims and accident victims all come in. Even talk therapy is hard because if you're rethinking about and having to share your experience, if you're in the military and you had to do some horrendous things, sometimes that pushes it deeper into the cell memory instead of releasing it.
Mm-hmm.
So have you had experiences with that?
Yes. Well, actually, even with myself, I had a pretty horrible experience in what I was talking about earlier in the music. I jumped into a music thing in France. It was a 2-week workshop for singers that want to break into the European market in opera. And I just, a friend convinced me to do it without me really reading about what it was about. Now, I'm not a professional singer. I don't have a university degree. I don't have the languages, nothing like that. I just have a big voice. So, I went over and it just went from bad to worse. By the time I was finished, my cat just jumped up here and is talking.
Hi, Kitty.
Daphne.
Oh, I love little fur babies. Hi, fur baby.
That's my baby. So it, they were expecting me to do things that I couldn't do, and so as they stripped away all of the things that I couldn't do, there was nothing left. And so in the end, I was being driven to the train station, and I'd been crying for days, like sobbing, and I just said, "Just leave me alone. Let me be." And they said, "No, you have to finish this." And they made me finish it, sing in front of a bunch of people, knowing that I couldn't sing. And then so they're driving me back to the airport, or back to the train station, and she said, "Don't quit your day job." And
oh my
I got on the
gosh.
train and I went home, and I had PTSD from that.
Yeah, for sure.
Deep. I couldn't sing when I got home. I was in a choir, and I said, "I'm not singing anymore. I'm done. I'm finished." Like, I went into a deep depression, and the only thing that's brought me out of that was two people. One was a teacher, and the other was the choir director, who just said, "You've got to come back. You've got."
Well, they told Elvis he didn't sound very good. There was some people that said Elvis didn't sound very good either.
Really?
Yeah, they said you can't sing.
I tell you.
Good thing he didn't quit.
And the key is to just go into it, go into the fear, try to work your way through it.
So after doing some egg sessions and stuff, have you noticed your voice is different?
Yes, absolutely. I did. So this happened probably 7 or 8 years ago, and I got back into a choir, but I have noticed clearing in different areas, like especially in around the heart and the solar plexus.
Yeah. Have you ever done a voice analysis?
Yes, actually, I just did it 2 weeks ago with Ani.
Ani, okay.
2 weeks ago, yeah. She got my Sangaya 2.
Nice.
Sangaya 2 is the big one, and then the B flat, I think. So I've been doing that as well. I've been doing the toning and.
So yeah, there's a school of thought that says that if you have an illness or a disease, whether it be emotional or physical, it could be just the result of you missing a tone from your own voice. So we have, A and A sharp and B and, F and F sharp and G, you know the tones.
Yeah.
And so you could be missing something. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you have an ailment. So I had a lady that I did a voice analysis on, and she was missing the E tone. And related to the E tone was everything she had wrong with her. It was her emphysema, her lung problems, her breathing problems, blah, blah, blah. And then adding more to that curiosity it can be based on when you were born and you came into a certain zodiac sign. She was under the sign of Leo, and Leos are often missing E. And maybe when she came onto the planet, E wasn't prevalent or there was something missing. And then the color of yellow. So when we work with clients in the harmonic egg, we do take into account that if they have these lung problems, it could be the missing tone of E. And we can put them on a song selection that's recorded in the tone of E to help them replenish this throughout their body. So that's why I was curious to know if you had experienced any kind of change in your voice.
Yes, and actually my daughter Rachel took the course with Ani as well, so she's going to start incorporating that in with the egg sessions.
I love it. I love
She's
it.
a singing teacher. Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, might as well. You guys have, with the singing background, I'm sure you're all over that with the different tones and stuff. I don't have any musical background, but these things come to me as intuitive hits. And then I go research it and usually find exactly what the hit was about. And I found Ani years and years and years ago. She's brilliant.
Right.
And so I feel like there's some definite key, no pun intended, to those missing tones. And I also have people who will sometimes detox a lot of heavy metals. And when you detox heavy metals, your voice can change as well. It can sound really raspy when you're full of heavy metals. And then when detoxing the heavy metals, your voice changes. So I hear a lot of changes in people's voices after sessions. So we are going to actually, bring this conversation up a little bit. We're going to be talking about love, but we're going to go to commercial break here, and we'll finish our conversation about fear and how it blocks things in your body, and how you can tell when you're stuck in fight or flight. And there's a lot of illnesses that can be created from living in fear all the time. So we'll be right back.
OMTimes TV. Experience light and sound in your own home with Harmonic Egg books and music. Take a deeper dive into the inner workings of the harmonic egg through Gail Lynn's book, Unlocking the Ancient Secrets to Healing. Experience Harmonic Egg's consciously created music on USB. Over 10 hours of high-frequency, high-vibration, high-energy music created with love, integrity, and intention. And The Little Dragon and the Giant Egg hardcover book makes the perfect gift for young and old, holidays, birthdays, anytime. Order these and more at harmonicegg.com. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. OMTimes Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, OMTimes offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an OMTimes magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on OMTimes TV and broadcasting it across the extensive OMTimes radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. OMTimes. Open yourself to the possibilities.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you.
And we're back. I just like saying that because I'm goofy. So we've been talking about fear and how, chronic fear can actually create disease in the body. And we're talking with Carrie, who is an amazing person, lots of experience with lots of different modalities. She really knows the body. She really knows her stuff with sound and light. And then she also is a singer. So she knows about missing tones and the tones in the body. So the other thing that fear can do is interrupt the processes in our brains that allow us to regulate emotions. And if everybody doesn't have PTSD, or PTS is how they want to say it now, from the last few years of the COVID and everything like that, I would be surprised, because I even have some, PTS from it, traveling and, people yelling at you or whatever, everybody living in all this fear. And so now I feel like we're seeing more road rage. I'm seeing more people being just rude. They're not acting ethically. And I think that the fear has just affected their emotions in their brain. Do you have any thoughts on that? Because I just feel like we're just kind of numb and zombies right now.
Yeah, well, honestly, yeah, with the world the way it is right now, yeah, we're stuck, aren't we?
Feels
the way
like
it
it.
is. Yeah, I mean, everybody's overworked, and money and bank issues and all this stuff going on right now in the world with war and yeah. So, I mean, people, the people that come in and that I see for the osteopathy and for the egg, they're all trying to take care of their bodies and trying to figure it out. And I think that things are really going up. We're actually on an upward spiral.
Absolutely.
Heading up into the good spaces, and that's sort of what I'm feeling. I'm attracting in now. Lots of people who take care of their bodies. They're just stuck in a few places, and they need to get that moving. And the heart issues, palpitations, vibratory issues in the body with and injuries and stuff like that. That's all the stuff that is starting to dissolve. I believe that there's nothing that we can't heal. I don't believe that 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 there are things that can't be healed.
Yeah.
So
I agree 100%. I had a lady on the show last time, and I said, I think there's no excuse for people to be sick, and she disagreed. But I understand she had some good thoughts about, if you're on welfare and you can't eat well and you can't, but I still think or you feed your children something and so then they're sick. And I've talked to some people who as children they were sick, but they have overcome. Mm-hmm. And we have so much education and so much free medicine, including just, a hug, which can build your immune system.
Yeah, it really all boils down to emotional stuff, right? Everything in the body, everything is attached to the emotional stuff. That's what we're really trying to heal through and move towards love, self-love, and loving each other, and higher.
Yeah, and just being one. Yeah, because there is no race, age, religion. We're all one. We're all in this together. We're all on the planet together. Yeah. And that's what, I think that's what the egg does. It kind of helps people to connect with their higher self, to realize that we're all one. So have you seen the fear stuck in a certain place in all your clients? Is there some particular pattern that you've seen?
I don't know, because it's like the way, so many people have come in with different things, like different areas of the body, not being grounded, so feet, knee issues, hip issues. They're not, they're not flexible, not moving forward. There's the of course the digestive issues. I see a lot of that, and I see a lot of people that that are just so stuck in those places that they can't even move, so their body just becomes inflexible. Yeah. And I was one of those people. So I can't say there's one specific area. I do understand the kidneys, of course. That's where the fear is, technically, in energetic wise, being in the kidneys and the adrenals, and but I see the digestive stuff too.
Wow. I know I saw a lot of
the vagus nerve really that's, that's the parasympathetic nerve that comes down, and we digest. Our heart rate, our digestion, our everything, down there is innervated by that parasympathetic.
Yeah. Just getting them. Yeah. I have had people come in and they say, oh my gosh, after the session, I had to poop so much. Or people say they yawned, and they said they don't usually yawn, which is a parasympathetic activity from what I understand. So,
Yes.
just the yawning, just the relaxing, just the heavy sighs. I think it's so beautiful.
Our very first 2 egg session people were in their 80s, and they came in and said, oh, we're both fine. We just want to try it. And they both went home and they slept from the afternoon right through to the next morning. And then they called me the next day and said, well, we want in again. We want more sessions. We really like that.
Oh my gosh, I love it so much.
I thought to myself, with my work, because normally I start with the parasympathetic nervous system. I actually do craniosacral therapy. And then I bring the body I bring them back into their body, so that they can start to show me in their body where the issues are, where I have to start in order to release the issues, right? And anyway, the egg is doing that for me now. So I think it goes really well, actually. It's
a great compliment. Yeah. No, I love osteopathic medicine. I think it is so advanced because it does tune into the body and what's going on with the body. And my sister called me, I think last week, and she said, I woke up, my left ankle hurts. Mm-hmm. So she said, can you look it up in your book? She knows I have the book Messages from the Body. And it was run amok anxiety. It was the number one thing. And there's so much anxiety in her life. And she's like, okay. So, and then you tune into that, and then it went away because she acknowledged it and started giving that attention.
Yeah.
So that's why I think too, anything can be fixed. But when we stub our toe, if it's the left or right toe, there's a meaning. When it's a knee problem, the inflexibility, the stubbornness, the unwilling to move forward. When it's a teeth problem, you have all the teeth meridians that you can connect into. So what tooth is it that hurts? Mm-hmm. And what organ is that connected to?
Exactly. Yeah, it does connect back into the body. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't know what they have in Canada, but we have thermograms, and you can get a thermogram of the teeth and see where the hot spots are. What do you guys? Yeah, it's really cool.
We do have thermograms here, but I only know it for
the breasts.
The breast, yes.
Yeah, I have a lady that does takes a picture of the teeth, and she can see where the hot spots are. And she can tell you straight away. It's almost like she's psychic. Oh, there's a heart condition, because she sees it on the tooth that's connected to the heart.
Wow.
And so people don't understand that their teeth problems can be, contributing to their organ problems. Mm-hmm. So how did you overcome that fear and decide that you were going to, live a different life?
I woke, actually, it was probably right after that egg session, because I came home. I looked at the options. What do I need to do in order to start that business? And I knew that there were, that my life there was very stuck. So I just made the leap. I decided, okay, I'm going to sell the house. I had been thinking about selling my house for a few years and moving. I just didn't know where I was going. And then once that opportunity came up, that was it. I just decided, okay, just jump. Yeah. And I kept hearing, if you don't try, you're going to regret it. And you're going to be 80 years old looking back and saying, why didn't you do that? And maybe die an early death because I'm stuck in all of this stress and stuff, So the opportunity to heal has been huge since I moved to Ottawa.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Yes, somebody put in the chat that the harmonic aid blasted them through their flight or freeze, and so it's gone. Mm-hmm. And I do hear that a lot, that people will just release that trauma and then they can move forward with more confidence. But the emotions of anger, guilt, shame, hate are all rooted in fear.
Yes, and you get
And so,
stuck in
yeah,
those patterns, and people trigger them all the time. Like for me, one of the issues around, as soon as I get triggered, I would eat,
okay,
and so I gained weight, and so it's there to heal. Everything's
yeah,
there to heal. I just had somebody tell me recently that she did a 30-day live video challenge. So every day she gets on YouTube or on her Facebook and does a live video challenge. That's her working through her fear of
yeah,
public speaking.
yeah.
And
You got to do it. You got to get through it. You just can't stay in that place of fear. And I mean, trust me, creating an egg empire has not been easy. And there was a lot of fear, and I kept saying, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But it's like there was this drive. There was this little voice in my head that says, you got to do this. You got to do this. Because I don't want to be on my deathbed having regrets.
yeah, you got
And
to be a special person to move into the unknown,
yeah,
really, to do this kind of work. And
yeah.
I
Well,
feel it.
Wayne Dyer says, do something every day that scares you. And I learned this from him in the late 90s. And I did that for a year. Every day I would do something that scares me. So there's not much that scares me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still fear always creeps in.
Yes. That actually came to me as well when I was making that decision.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, I could stay comfy here and just go through my every couple of months, my little breakdown and my stress. But I just knew that there was something better, that life is going to be really good. It's going to be tough. Just go into it, just move into it and allow it to come.
And have that faith. Yeah. But so many people are living, in unhappy, relationships, unhappy jobs, and they make up a lot of excuses as to why they can't, but they can. I mean, if you and I can do it, we're just people, right? We're just people. And I used to tell people, how long does it take the average person to start a business? The average person doesn't start a business, right? Like you said, it needs somebody special, right? Yes. And that came from my karate days. My karate master said, he asked me, how long does it take the average person to get a black belt? And that was the answer. The average person doesn't get a black belt. Mm-hmm. So let's say, okay, how can people manifest what they want? We can go through like a whole list of things about that. So do you have any tips or hints on that? Let's go. Let's high vibe the rest of this conversation.
Yeah. See yourself there. Visualize it. Bring yourself into that high vibe. Think about what you want and see yourself there.
So yeah, you gotta picture it. I mean, we have on the harmonic egg sessions, you set an intention. Mm-hmm. An intention is everything. So you have to set that intention, see it as it's already done. I remember I wanted a job at Verizon so bad. I actually made a business card with my name on it, project manager, put the Verizon logo on it, slapped it on my vision board. And those were the days when they were just starting to send in resumes. And some people still would go deliver a resume, but it was kind of past. I walked in there and I said, I want to hand deliver my resume. Oh, just send it to us via email. No, I'm hand delivering my resume. And I stuck out from the crowd and I had my little vision board. I got the job. But it's like, you have to really focus.
Yes, you do.
Like laser focus.
And apparently, you can have it like that. If you watch Joe Dispenza, you understand what he's talking about, right? Just bringing things to you instead of you going to them, which puts time between you and whatever you're manifesting. But
absolutely,
holding that space and holding that vision.
Yeah, because if you picture it and feel it in all the cells of your being, like when we did this movie project, and I remember buying the director an Academy Award, a little plastic one, right? And he would carry it to every investor presentation. We actually got the movie out. We walked the red carpet and some of the, film festivals and Berlin, Germany and France, but he never got an Academy Award. But, you got to really want it. You got to really picture it. And you don't water a seed once and make it grow and flourish, right?
Right, exactly.
And that's what people do. They're like, okay, well, I watered this once. So I made this little quote: watering a seed once does not make it grow and flourish. And then this is my joke. That was by a Polish philosopher named Gail Linsky. Just kidding, I'm Polish. So yeah, but I was like, oh, I had this brilliant, it came through yesterday. Watering a seed once does not make it grow and flourish. And I was like, oh, I'm like a Polish philosopher right now.
Love it. Love it.
But yeah, and you don't dig up the seed to see if it's sprouting. You have faith that that is going to, once you feed it, once you energize it, once you water it, it's going to grow and flourish.
Yes. Yes. Just stay with it.
It's crazy. So if you can just gather as much emotion as you can, I mean, because it needs to be like it's already done.
Yes. Yes. You've got to see it done. You've got to feel it, see it, hear it, be it.
Absolutely. And I always tell there's a lot of people that want to have their cake and eat it too. So a lot of people say that they want something. So they'll say, oh, I want to work for myself, but there's like a little but, right? But I want to get a paycheck. I want to have vacation. I want to have, sick time, and I don't want to have any risk of being my own boss. I was like, okay. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. So what kind of advice would you give to those people that want both ways?
You can't have your cake and eat it too. Yeah. I was thinking something, then I got distracted by the chat.
Oh yeah, I know. Chris does that to me all the time. I'm like, oh, I gotta read that. So no, when people they say that they want something, but I know that I tell people everything is yours by divine right. Did you remember?
I remember what I was going to say. Honestly, the key is to never say I want something or I need something, or because you're actually removing yourself from it. You have to be it. To be what you want to be, you have to be what you want to be in the world. What are the words? Oh my goodness. Anyway, yeah, so we always stay in the present and say, I am this, or, I don't know. I can't remember what I was going to say.
Yeah, no, it's just being present. It's being, it's knowing you already have it, and and you also have to feel deserving of it too. Yes. That was one thing that I had to overcome is, being of the Polish descent, and going back to trauma too, trauma can be stored from your ancestors. Yes. So there was a university in Minnesota, and it says people who endured the traumas themselves are one thing, but you can also pass that along to your ancestors. So maybe your ancestor was, let's see, it says, as a result, communities of African Americans, Indigenous people, and other marginalized groups may experience a shared sense of grief and ongoing fear because it's an inherited trauma, often compounded by the reality of the ongoing discrimination and brutality. So it just kind of is a spiral effect. And so I feel like in my Polish descent, there was a lot of poor people. And so my dad used to say, you have to work for every penny. Think about that. Yeah. Think about, do you make a penny an hour? I mean, come on, right? And he used to say, you're trying to buy steaks with hamburger money. And so all this was, in my ancestral DNA. Mm-hmm. And that comes up a lot for me is that I didn't deserve it. I don't deserve to be successful. So a lot of, work on myself to get over that and to be in abundance. And now I want everybody to be as abundant and happy and living in joy as I am. Although I have a little too much stress, but we're working on that. But I mean, I want everybody to enjoy the life that I have, because now I know that I've gotten here, it is beautiful. The sky's the limit. I don't want or need anything. It's all just there. Yes. When you live in love, it's like disease can't live in love.
That's true.
and everything is just an abundance. There's so much for everyone.
I just did a workshop on the weekend about self-love, and it was very interesting. This person is actually able to go into your trauma stories, and then tells you what you need to do to release them.
So give us some tips.
Well, I don't know if I can summarize that, but basically what happened for me was I have a lot of anger, and this is generational. Anger and vengeance of all things, right? So that had to, and it was stuck in my stomach and in the sacral chakra, and releasing that would open my third eye more. So it was interesting because the third eye and the sacral chakra correlate metaphysically. So the two together, so if you have like issues down there, they can affect you up here as well, and it can be one or the other. And that was what was coming out for me on the weekend anyway. So yeah.
Everything's connected, but anger is connected to the liver. So do you have right side pains?
Big time, yeah.
Okay, so see?
Yeah, well, it's not there right now.
Yeah.
It's not right there right now, but it had been for a long time. I had some sharp pain on the right side in the liver, and it was enlarged and other stuff going on. So I've tried to work on that, actually doing some drumming.
Nice. Get some flute music going, get some orange light going in there.
Flutes, oh goodness, yeah.
Yeah, we work a lot with the liver. Well, my experiences have created a lot of the training manual for the harmonic egg, and I had a lot of liver issues because of the anger, and I think it was ancestral, but it was also, my own life that I, experienced a lot of anger and a lot of right side issues. Yeah. And so that's what I noticed with the harmonic egg, the flute music, and then the orange light. And then if you want to penetrate the density of how packed in all those organs, those digestive organs are, all the intestines and they've got the pancreas there, we got the stomach there. I mean, that's all packed into that little space. Then you use drumming to really impact the density, or, get through the density of all that. So we use the drumming music, but it's pretty cool.
Just used the which one, the meditation drums on somebody last month. And it was so powerful for her.
What happened?
Well, she had come in, she was actually having stomach issues, but I mean, something just told me she can handle the drums, the meditation drums, right? Yeah. And I don't remember exactly what it was, but there was stomach, and then something else. So we did the meditation drums, and she just came in the other day, and she said, I can't believe what happened to me. None of my family is interested in my spiritual journey. But she said, right after I went home, she said it was a difficult couple of days because I was making some tough decisions. And then she said, I went to Mexico, and it was just a huge, sorry, I'm getting out of this chat thing here. It was just a huge thing. And her life has changed like tremendously in 1 month. She said that she's now, she's had a bigger, like more of a spiritual awakening. She said when she went to Mexico, none of her body pain was there. And it was a spiritual thing she was doing. She didn't tell me what it was, but it was some sort of a group that was down there. And then she said she came back and she went home, and her husband just said, "What the heck has happened to you?"
Yeah.
So big change for her.
It's crazy. Well, I think you are lovely. I think you're doing some great work with people. I really appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing to bring more love to the planet and to really give people a better quality of life and let them tune into their bodies. So tell us how people can find you.
So I'm in Ottawa, Ontario, and we are at Harmonic Egg Ottawa on Carling Avenue. 2571 Carling Avenue, Unit 205. We do have 2 harmonic eggs, and I also am an osteopath. And
You do massages too, yeah.
Yeah, I do. I'm not, well,
Not
really.
practicing, yeah,
Not
right,
really.
right.
I let go of the license, so I don't really do it.
Yeah. But you know the
and
body.
My daughter Rachel is a singing teacher and a sound bowl healer, and so.
Well, and know that you can also contact Carrie to do a remote session or something that she could do intuitively with you. She's lovely. I think she could really help a lot of people. So thank you all for joining us today. And remember that fear is not as healthy as we wish it could be, because we need to live in love. We need to experience more love. We need to raise our vibration to the place of love. We need to be more loving to each other. We need to be more loving to the planet in everything that we do. And you guys go out and manifest your butts off and live the best life that you can live, and live in joy, and find that thing that just lights you up and it makes you just feel like everything is just perfect.
This show is not intended to diagnose, prevent, or treat any diseases or illnesses. The information presented within cannot substitute the advice of your physician or other trained healthcare professionals. The content of this show is for educational purposes only and is the expressed opinion of the show host and guests.